morning, everybody. It's like hella early right now. I'm gonna wait till some people come in. Good morning. Good morning, guys. How are y'all doing? I can hardly see this phone. Good morning. Also, if you hear an echo, please forgive me. I'm like in an empty room right now because it was the only good place with lighting. Thank you, Dee. Good morning. That's my profile, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. What y'all got planned? Either one of y'all can answer. Girl, look, okay. I can't see. Is that it? Okay. Ooh, it's not super cold here. I'm from Houston, and it doesn't get really cold here. Good morning. It doesn't get super cold here, but the weather has been a little schizo, so I really don't know what to do with this weather. Good morning, everybody coming in. Hi. So my sinuses have been acting up a little bit, but it's a blessing. It's nice and sunny outside, and I heard them like in the north and on the East Coast, it's been a little crazy. So I'm counting on blessings, and I really hope that they're okay up there. And I hope that the weather kind of like dies down a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot of it. There's like canceled plans and people worried about blizzards and stuff. So, excuse me. Also, if you hear me coughing, it's because of the weather. So I don't want to keep you guys too long because I know you have things to do for your weekend and I want you to be able to get started, but I want to share these things really quick. So if you don't know me, hi, welcome. My name is Alexandria Chill. I am my hair lord. I am the founder and writer for the blog DP Taught Me, which is a platform I use to teach NPHC millennials how to use their Greekdom for leadership and mentorship. So, and this is a sub-segment to the blog called DP Check-ins, where I kind of check in with the fam and share some bits of knowledge that I know or some pearls of wisdom that I got from other people, just so collectively we can be a unified, informed, and energetic and impactful group of Greek leaders. So, with that being said, today we are going to, and if you agree or like anything that I say, go ahead and double tap that, this thing right there. You see it? The little man, tap it, and all the hearts come up. So, thank you for the demonstration. On point. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about, or expansion upon my blog that I wrote a few weeks back called 3 Ways profites can be better mentors. This is going to be a part 2 to this. This was inspired by this event that I attended yesterday at TSU, Texas Southern University, if you're not from Houston. The Black Lives Matter Houston, Texas chapter had a symposium, and we were discussing intersectionality within the Black Lives Matter movement. How can we embrace the multifaceted parts of being Black and what that means within the movement? So not just being Black and male, being Black and female, being Black and transgender, being or a part of the LGBTQ family, also being Black and I guess middle income, Black and poor, like all the different facets that come with that and how we all play a role within the Black Lives Matter movement. So the discussion was really good. I'm not sure if they have it recorded, but if you want to, I guess, get updates or see what they talked about, you can go to BLMHTX on Facebook and like their page, and you can probably get more information there. So the topics today were inspired by that discussion, and I was really excited because there were 3 Greek members on the panel, which I was not surprised about. So the first one that I saw, her name is Roni Dean-Burren. I hope I say her name right. And excuse me, she's a PhD student at U of H. She's also an educator, a teacher, and she is responsible for. Remember that video that went viral whenever it was a Texas history textbook, and they were trying to soften slavery, and she was responsible for that going viral. So that was really cool. And she's a member of AKA. And they also had Dr. Anthony Pinn. He's a professor at Rice. He teaches, I think, a religious course, I believe. Excuse me. And he's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. And I've seen him at plenty of like different forums and symposiums and stuff. So I really want to get in touch with him to see if we can partner with some things. But yeah, so he was there. And also we had Dr. Carla Brailey, and she's a sociology professor at TSU, and she's a member of Delta Sigma Theta. So we were well represented on the panel. It was 3 out of 5, so that's really cool. So what I did was take some notes from everything that was discussed last night, and I wanted to share them with you because I feel like they relate to us as a council, because I feel like we could be more active in, we are being active in the community and using our letters to push social justice and community issues and whatnot. But I think we could do it more collectively. And I think that comes when we also identify and acknowledge our intersectionality within our own organizations. So I kind of wanted to share some of the notes that I took down. And so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking, that's what I'm looking at. I'm not trying to ignore you. But I think they will really help. I thought they were really insightful, so I hope they're insightful to you. And so we'll go from there. Hey, so one of the questions that were asked was just, what are some solutions that we can implement, or some strategies that we can implement to embrace our intersectionality within the Black Lives Matter movement? I'm going to say within our great council, because I know that we all have different personalities, different stereotypes that each organization has, and sometimes that can be a hindrance. And sometimes it can be a trigger to fight somebody, which is ridiculous. But especially when you have new kids neos coming in, they're only going by hearsay until they really get involved and active in the chapter. And so we really want to make sure that these babies know that the right way to be Greek and the best way we can portray it to them. So the first couple of notes that I have is from, excuse me, Dr. Brailey. And so as an educator, she was saying that she found out that it's easy to fail everybody, but it's hard to meet students where they are. And I thought that was really insightful because a lot of times, well, for me as a prophet, I can't speak for everybody. There were some things that I wish I had taught some of my neos or taught some of the younger ones coming in, or even like some of my prophets. I wish I had known some things before I kind of like got full-fledged in. And I felt like at times I failed them because I saw them making mistakes. I'm like, I could have helped you with that. But another thing that prevents us from really getting there is not seeing them where they are and acknowledging the place in which they are at as far as like their understanding. So realizing that we have to meet whoever that person is exactly where they are and work from there. Not trying to have them at your caliber because they just got there. Like they don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. So not at the caliber that you are, but if they're, or even if they're like super, super low, help level them up, and help them with their understanding and their knowledge and practices of what it means to be Greek. So one of the exercises that she has for her students is, she said she wanted to raise their consciousness and be self-aware. And so one of the exercises that she does is she has them, let me make sure I have the right notes. Okay, she says she wants them to raise their consciousness. So she puts it in their head first. She wants them to be self-aware. And then she has them create a vision for themselves. So what is it that you want to see yourself as? Like right now, in the future, like how does Stacy see herself, or how does Jonathan see himself right now, in the future? That could be like 5 years from now, that could be 10 years from now, this could be a year from now. How do you see yourself? How do you want to see yourself manifest? So creating that vision for themselves, and then after that, creating a strategy to get to that person. And particularly within the Black Lives Matter movement, she was saying, how do you envision yourself within this movement? And how can you build a strategy to where you get to that place? Like everybody has a part within the Black Lives Matter Black Lives Matter movement. Everybody has a part within NPHC in knowing your role. It's just a matter of how you're going to execute it in your unique way. So raise their consciousness, make themselves aware of this, write the vision down, and then follow up with some strategies and some steps of how to get there. And I thought that was really important. I think that'd be a really good exercise for neos coming in, especially if they're not really sure what they're going to do or how they're going to play a role in the, sorry, I was trying to cite something. Play a role in your particular chapter. So that's one tidbit. Let's see, what else do we have here? Also a really good note that she wrote was she would like her students to grow and develop so they can pass on this information and this knowledge and this know-how and these exercises to future students. So this exercise that you do with your neos now, if you find it really helpful for them, if you find it really helpful for you, I know some profiles and some people who have been in the chapter can use exercises like this as well, just to solidify what their role is so they can feel like they have some purpose and some say and some real stock in the organization. If they think this is useful, they can pass it on to further chapter members whenever they're coming in, so you can make this like a standard exercise. And she also said she wants her students to get to the point to where they're making decisions. What decisions? She wants her students to be able to make decisions, like make critical thinking decisions. And she wants them to think of what kind of decisions they want to make. And then once you figure out, okay, this is the kind of issues that I want to deal with, now I need to think of what I need to do to prepare myself to address those issues if they ever come up. And I thought that was really important. So say if you're in your organization and you want to work on like community service issues and you're like, we don't never have nobody come out to our community service. How are you going to address that? You can't just complain about it. You have to, implement it. Okay, well, maybe our community service projects are boring as a mug. I'm trying not to cuss. Or maybe we don't put out enough information whenever we're trying to solicit people. Maybe we didn't pick the right people who were community service oriented in our chapter. So we have to figure out how to get them engaged, because that's a real thing. Let's not pretend. So if you want to address those issues, you have to start thinking critically about how you're going to get there and not just wait till it comes. So prepare yourself to deal with those kind of decisions. So that was some tidbits from Dr. Bailey, and she's Lady of DST. So thank you, Dr. Brailey, for that. So the next couple of notes that I have is from Dr. Pinn, and he's a member of APhiA. And he says that he likes to develop creative and critical thinking in his classes, but also he's really stringent on having his students know the power of effective communication. So you can have all these great ideas, think all these significant and awesome thoughts, but if you don't know how to articulate it to the community that you're trying to reach, that's going to be your barrier. That's going to prevent you from progressing as much as you would like to do. So and the after effects of that is, he said, if you don't know how to communicate, then you render yourselves to be invisible. And then, so if you don't know how to communicate, you render yourself invisible, even though you have something to say. Excuse me. And so what we want to do is teach our council members how to effectively and efficiently articulate their vision, not only for themselves, but for their chapter and for their organization. This goes with interacting with each other as far as like council members, and as well as the community that we serve. I think a lot of times when we think about Greek life, we don't think that, I think the mindset is a little bit different in grad chapter, but in undergrad, I know a lot of times the perception can be it's more so a social club than a service club. And it's a little bit of both, but our primary reason for existing is to serve. We are servant leaders, right? So we want to keep that in mind whenever we're talking to our campus or our community. We don't want to come with an elitist attitude that can sometimes be portrayed whenever we're trying to get people to come to our events, or even when they're expressing interest. We want to make sure that the way in which we communicate is very open. That doesn't mean that you have to tell all your business or be like, make people not work for, trying to get to know your organization. Just like with any, job, you go for an interview, you have to do your research first, or you should do your research first and get to know what the position is, what the organization is about, how you can contribute, things of that nature. So it doesn't mean that you don't necessarily make the person work for it if they are interested, but you don't have to be like so pompous and pious and, aloof when it comes to them communicating with you. You want them to be engaged with you. You want them to feel like they can play a part in your organization, and you want them to understand exactly what you do. So not just the parties and stuff that you put on, not just the probates and step shows and stuff, but you want to be equally as enthusiastic about the service projects that you put on, or the personal development or career development programs that you put on, partnering with different organizations within the campus as well as outside the campus that really bring value to what you say your mission is. Those are ways to effectively communicate what your organization does. Because yes, we party and have fun. Yes, Lord. Well, I don't know if you can say it with that, but yes, Lord. We do that. We do that, but we also put in a lot of time and effort and resources and funds into creating these events and platforms and initiatives that really help boost our community. And we want to push that even more than our social aspects. So put that in your communication initiatives plan for this year. Make sure that we push those as much as we can. And Dr. Pinn also said that he really believes that thinking matters, and it's what really makes activism tick, because you have to think critically about what it is that you're trying to solve. So he's like, if you don't think critically, then you can't ask good questions. If you can't ask good questions, then you can't anticipate what the good answers are going to be or what a good answer looks like. So, and then you become irrelevant. And I think that was really important, because this goes for profiles as well as neos or our mentees. If we don't think critically about what our chapters are trying to achieve, what kind of members that we want our chapters to have, rather than just filling them in whenever somebody graduates, then we aren't doing our organization service. We're not doing us any good, because we're not filling in these voids and filling in these holes the proper way. So, say if you have a line, you have like maybe 20 people in your chapter, a good 10 of them are about to graduate within fall and spring, right? You want to identify what they were good at in the chapter, what roles did they play, how effective were they, engaging with each other and engaging with your campus and the people in your community. What role did they serve, and to what capacity? Was it a small capacity where someone just came every now and then, which is cool because everybody's different, but at least they served. So they came every now and then to an event, or did you have like a social butterfly who was like all over the place, like, hey girl, what's up, dude? Like, was that their role? And if so, try to identify, some people who are currently like that, who are about to stay for a couple of more years. Say they're maybe like in their junior or they're a sophomore, they can take the place of the person who's graduating. So you want to keep those things in mind. And you also, I'm trying to think of another example that you could use. So say, for instance, you are specifically trying to tackle a stereotype. Let's go with that. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to talk about any other organizations. I'll just talk on behalf of what I know the stereotypes are. Because I'm gonna say so say one of the things that people say about us normally is that we are a heavier set of women. And we like to eat a lot. I went on a rant last week about how if you don't like to eat, something's wrong with you, not necessarily us. But we did want to tackle the perception of weight and health and things like that, we can actively push an initiative for health. So make sure that we can do like a little club for our members, as far as like we agree to go to well, the gym, if you like every Friday. It doesn't have to be every day. Every Friday, we just do that as a group, to attack that stereotype. Or what else you could do? Or you can go do like a really fun activity every weekend together. And that will be your way of approaching health matters. You could put on different initiatives throughout the year that are consistent and kind of debunk those stereotypes that are out there. So you have to start thinking critically about what it is that we want to see ourselves as, what it is that people see us as. Is there dissonance? Is there things that actually ring true? And how can we attack these, not attack, but approach these ways or these identities in a proactive way, which benefits the way we see ourselves and the mission that we stand for. So I thought that was really important. Thank you, Dr. Pinn, for that. I really appreciate it. Again, he's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. And then we have Miss Roni. I loved her on the panel. If y'all look her up on Facebook, you can follow her. I tried to friend her, but she got too many friends. So you can only follow her. But Miss Roni was amazing. She had the conversation lit. One of the things that I loved about what she says, she was talking about how she teaches in Pearland. If you don't know where Pearland, Texas is, it's a suburb, it's a suburb of Houston, and primarily the racial makeup of that particular area is Caucasian persuasion, our white brethren over there, which is cool. Hey, y'all in Pearland. It's not the totality of the people there, but a good majority. And so she was saying that in her classroom, I think she said she's an English teacher, literature teacher. In her classroom, she implements a lot of stories and narratives that her students primarily would not have heard of had she not been there. So, we listen to, or we hear a lot of Shakespeare whenever we're coming in. We talk about a lot of like Greek mythology. I'm trying to think of other like authors that we normally read. I know Shakespeare is it's really big. I can't think of all the books that we had when we were coming up, but a lot of them were not necessarily minority authors. So minority being women, being African American, being Latino, being Asian, being someone from the LGBTQ community. Those are stories that we don't hear when we're in school. Sorry. Saw something on the side. Get rid of that. There we go. Those are stories that we don't necessarily hear whenever we're in school. And so what she wanted to do is introduce people to those kind of narratives so that when they are presented with a situation like, well, this isn't the Black experience, like they're exaggerating, the kids can be like, no, because we read so-and-so and so-and-so, we watched this, that, and the other, we've talked to this author, that author, and whoever, and they're from this experience, and this is what they've shared with us. And you have several accounts of how it debunks whatever it is this other perception is. So I thought that was really, really important. And she said that she wanted to bring the people who are pushed to the margins to center stage. And she wanted to bring their voice to the table so that the students can have different perspectives whenever they're dealing with not only their families and communities and other things like that, but they can also deal or know how to communicate with people from other cultures, other backgrounds, etc. That's not so necessarily blind. Like sometimes it just seems like you can try to like expose them or like try to make them be woke. I don't know how else to explain it. Try to like awaken their minds to a different experience, and they just really don't get it. And it can be the same for me. Like, there's been times I've been in situations and someone's telling me about their experience, and just like, my life is dead. I don't know how you do that. Like, how y'all get to do so and so and so and so? That was never present in my life, Lord. I've never heard of that. Granted, I don't devalue or say this stuff didn't happen, but I'm just like, that's so different from how I grew up, or that's so different from my experience on a day-to-day basis. And I learned to appreciate their stories that they tell me, and vice versa. When I show that same appreciation, they show it back majority of the time. So she wanted her students to have a point of reference, because having a point of reference is a really intricate tool in approaching social justice issues. A lot of the times it seems like the people that we are butting heads with the most don't have an accurate point of reference. They're just going off of hearsay. And so what she wanted to do is give her students the opportunity to have a different perspective or to have a different vision. And so I thought that was really important, because same thing with NPHC, right? I was talking to somebody earlier this week. I went to like this bloggers event, and I remember saying, like, I use my platform to talk about Greek leadership and mentorship, and the whole audience kind of went, oh, they never heard of that concept before. It happened at another blogging thing that I went to too. And that just astounded me, because that's all I ever thought Greek life to be when I came in. Greek mentorship, Greek leadership in a niche form, or leadership and mentorship in a niche form. And the fact that narrative is not broad, or it's not vastly understood, to me is a problem. So this is why I put, this kind of content out, so we can kind of debunk those different narratives that say all we do is party, all we do is haze, all we do is step. We're elitists. We don't really know it. If you're a sorority girl, that you're ditzy and you don't know anything. If you're a frat boy, like, you're super insensitive and all you do is get drunk, what have you. Like, those are the narratives that they're telling about us. But if we don't step up to tell our own stories, then we can't really say anything about what they're saying, because, like, we're not giving them material to work with, right? So I thought that was really important. So if you are doing something that's of substance, don't be afraid to push it to the forefront. Don't be afraid to tell people what you're doing in your organization that is really, helping develop and elevate the community or the campus that you serve. People need to know that. And when they start hearing this in abundance and more consistently and repetitively, people who are interested in investing in missions like our sororities and fraternities, they will start talking to other people and be like, hey, well, these are some initiatives that they're doing. Maybe we can come together and help them fund something, or they have an event, let's sponsor them. Or, or I have someone that I know who would be a really good fit for them, as far as like maybe a member, or someone who will help them like broadcast or push this event or initiative that they have. When you start talking about it in abundance, people start noticing, right? So making sure that the narratives that we have for our organizations are pushed to the forefront, and pushed to people who normally wouldn't hear them. You know what I'm saying? Don't let us just be ditzy, frilly, frivolous frat brothers and sorority sisters. Like, we're so much more than that. We have intersectionality within our own, segment. We're not shallow. We're not unintelligent. There are plenty of top Fortune 500 CEOs and high level people who are Greek. A lot of them are Greek, if you believe it or not. Actually, a lot of people that I've met in really high positions or who are really active in the community, I guarantee you, if there's like 10 people in the room, 3 of them are going to be Greek. That's been my experience almost every single time. Because this is what we do, this is what we live and breathe. And so make sure that you bring those kind of narratives to the forefront so they can have a different perspective and a different point of reference that enhances and pushes and elevates your mission. And I'm trying to think if that's it. And that is it as far as my notes are concerned. So, also before I leave, I want to thank everybody who helped me get my last blog. I think it was called like 9 Truths That Neos Need to Hear But Rarely Do. Y'all, that one blog, reached, the last time I checked, it reached 90,000 views. That's almost 100,000. Bro, that's almost 100,000 views. That is crazy, 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 crazy. I literally woke up the next day to like 30,000. I'm just like, how, Soy? How? So I want to thank everybody who shared the blog, whether it's in a thank you. Didn't it? That's Jesus, girl. That's my gift through Jesus. I was just like, I had came back from Bible study with Kristen, and I was already in my feelings, so I didn't want to like check the stats because I was just like, thank you, Jesus, and crying and stuff. So woke up the next day, and I was just like, I told Nikki that I refreshed my page a whole bunch of times because my technology can tend to be really janky. So I thought it was the wrong stats. I was like, this don't look right. And then I checked it later and it kept rising. I was like, that is amazing. So I wanted to say thank you to everybody who shared the blog, who read the blog, and most importantly, discussed the things that were mentioned in the blog. I got a lot of really good feedback about how this was discussed within chapters and lines and group me discussions and kind of like nitpicking things, not nitpicking, but like breaking down the things that were said and be like, hey, this is true, maybe we should do something about this, or, I have a really good way we can combat this, or going into their own experiences, like, I wish that so-and-so had told me this, let's change this year, so I think that was the most important part of it. And I greatly, 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 greatly appreciate every single one of you guys who shared it. That's amazing. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. And I hope that you guys stick around for the next blog that comes out next week. I'm really sad because this is the end of National Mentorship Month, but that does not mean the mentorship stops in January. So be on the lookout for the next blog. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So if you also want to follow the different professors that I mentioned in these notes, I'll put their Twitter handles in there so you can hit them up. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I said thank you because that was really important. The Twitter handles. And if you want to bring me to speak at your different campuses or universities and do leadership workshops, for various reasons, I can do that. I love workshops because I like working one-on-one and letting people actually strategize rather than just talking to them. But if you'd like me to do a workshop, want me to talk on a panel, want me to do a forum, I can do that. I could do that. I have to do that because I'm from Houston. So if you're interested, there's a book me tab. You can go there and check it out. And I hope to see you guys next weekend. Have a fantastic weekend. Please stay warm if you can. Don't get blown over. We need you in this world. Stay safe. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week.